our next guest, thinks Santa Claus is indeed coming to town. Could a Santa Claus rally give us a running start into the new year? Let's get right to our floor show. Joining me now, Great Hill Capital Chairman Tom Hayes and Fitzgerald Group Principal Keith Fitzgerald. Okay, let's talk about this, guys. Tom, you say that Grinch is not going to appear for the month of December. Yeah. I don't know. What makes you say that?
Well, I was part of that survey that you referenced from Bloomberg, but Cheryl, there will be no Grinch this year, and Santa will be coming to town. You did reference that the slightly hotter than expected PPI this morning. The key is the trend, and the trend has been rolling over since July when it peaked. Every single month, it's lower and lower and lower. And then you look at consumer sentiment, which also came out today. It bottomed in July, and it's been rising every single month. So I think 50 basis points is baked into the cake for next week. And that 2 months between next week's meeting and the February meeting will give us plenty of new data points to see whether they're going to do 50 or 25. Or maybe even 0 in February, depending how that data comes in.
And I want to add here, what you're talking about is the University of Michigan consumer sentiment for the month of December. This is the preliminary read. Came in at 59.1. The estimate was 56.9. So, yeah, certainly better than expected, better than the previous read on consumer sentiment, which, yeah, a little bit of a surprise, Keith, considering that we are dealing with still a very high inflationary environment. And while you may say to yourself 7.4%, the headline number on PPI today is another month of it actually, declining, and that if it's 5 straight months, I think we've seen that headline number decline. At the same time, that isn't 2%. That's more than 7%.
It is. And I look at what my wallet feels. My breakfast costs 60, 70% more than it did a few years ago. The cost of medicine, education, stuff I have to get for my children, those things are still all going up. So there's a very common misperception that if somehow PPI drops, CPI drops, that prices are going to come back down. That's not the case. However, Tom is right on it. I think that the market is poised for a stronger finish than many people expect because people have simply had it, okay. Cheryl. They want to get on with their lives. They want optimism back.
They want to go to Disney World, Tom. Disney World's prices, by the way, have jumped exponentially again. They just announced at the parks they're going to raise prices. Okay, so that's a little bit of a depressing nod for parents out there, but could be good for investors.
No question about it, Cheryl. Disney's down 55% from its highs. This is Disney. This is not some penny stock or crypto coin. Parks were up 36%. Last quarter, year on year. The Disney Plus subs were up 12.1 million, up to 164 million. And now Bob Iger is in charge, and he's going to get the costs under control. You have to take a little longer term view on this, Cheryl. But if you look out over the next 1, 2, 3 years, I think people are going to be very, very happy with the returns on Disney.
Keith, and you're talking about semiconductors, in particular Taiwan Semiconductor.
Well, absolutely, because people have beaten those to smithereens on the assumption that somehow those businesses are going to go away. But last time I checked, 90% of the data that's ever been created in the history of humanity was created in the last few years. We are only going to get more digital, which means more chips. And as those become a national defense priority with China's aspirations on Taiwan, I submit the chip-making segment in general is a great buy right now.
All right, gentlemen, we are going to leave it there. We shall see how these markets play out. We've got 50 minutes to go right now until the final bell rings for the week. Gentlemen, thank you. All right, well.